Well, I've been an activist my whole life, and I protested the election of Bush in 2010. I protested the invasion of Afghanistan in 2011. I protested the invasion of Iraq in 2003. I protested every troop surge, every pipeline, everything I could protest against. And the problem is that with just peaceful nonviolence, the American government doesn't really listen. Giovanni Gieco, I'm 25, level of education, 1 year of community college. Recently, in the last 6 months, I've actually been quite a few protests. Quite a few. The most recent one was I went to two for the March for 15, which was to raise LA County's minimum wage to $15. And basically, so I was in those two protests, which was one on Broadway. We marched on Broadway, and then there was one by USC that we bused to from City Hall. And then there was all the Ferguson riots that kind of came about spontaneously. I live in MacArthur Park, and basically you could hear the protests in downtown happening because the helicopters, come by the drove, like there's 6 or 7 helicopters. And so I just run out the door and go protest, and basically we stopped a train. I almost got felony conspiracy to stop a train. I didn't even know that existed. I went to at least I want to say 10, and basically every time it just got smaller. That's what I noticed, that they should have been getting bigger, but instead they were getting smaller, and it had a lot to do with, just like in Occupy, they just arrest people in mass. And then who wants to keep protesting when they realize how high court costs are? You know what I mean? Very expensive. Like freedom, like real freedom, not like you have to work here, this is how much you're going to earn. Your whole life is set out from you when you're age 6. I'm actually not very much of a pessimist, knowing how fucked the world is, which it is quite fucked. The modern status quo is going out the door rapidly, only through its own destruction of itself via its propagating capitalism, unending growth. And basically, yes, sometimes I do get scared for the fact that some of the things that I even do, just protesting, things that are protected by the quote-unquote Constitution of America, could have me in jail. And if they don't have me in jail, if it's more serious per se, I would be deported because I'm an immigrant. And so the government cracks down very, very hard. People don't even realize how hard the United States government cracks down. During Occupy in 2011, in a period of 3 months, the United States government arrested almost 8,000 protesters in 55 cities. And that's not conspiracy, that's just a nationwide crackdown on civil activism protected by the Constitution that's nonviolent and speaks the truth. There's so much racial tension in this country that you can't even begin to describe it because the people don't want to even admit it. Like, half my friends that are white will tell you that we live in a post-racial society, and then they'll tell a Mexican to wash their car for $4, and then they'll tell them to mow their lawn for $4 and not even think about the fact that the minimum wage is $8. When you live in MacArthur Park, you see the police 10 or 15 times a day. The helicopters come every night, 5-6 nights a week, often twice a week. They circle the park 2 blocks from my house and car chase people to in front of my street, arrest them in front of my house, beat them, murder them, shoot them. We saw a dude get shot at the subway station. Social media is both incredibly good and incredibly bad for every issue you could ever imagine. The disconnect from what man and women used to be thousands of years ago is very obvious when you've got people that are completely just prone to sitting in front of an inanimate object and looking at it all day. And therefore that removes the zeal for life. You start living life in a kind of 3D or 2D fucking illusion of a virtual reality. And when you take into mind cars and helicopters and watches and smartwatches and smartphones and pacemakers, we've practically driven ourselves into cyborgism, and we rapidly will delve deeper into cyborgism at the cost of what it meant to be a human even 50 years ago. Rest in peace, Eduardo Galeano, a radical Uruguayan Argentinian thinker, J.R.R. Tolkien, Gandhi, Che Guevara, all these people that had ideas and they weren't done with just the idea. They were
It's the outliers. It's people that see the future of society while everybody else is stuck in the cultural norm at the moment. You know, what is. There is a world that's coming. It's coming rapidly. It's coming fast as it has ever come, with the increase in technology and information and accessibility to information, and then also the crackdown, you know, to reciprocate that freedom that's coming with, you know, the internet. There's also the fact that people are more ignorant than ever, because they think that what they read on the internet is real.